Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to my channel, to my Bookland, and as you can tell by the title, in our coffee time today, we have a book haul.
It's coffee time!
Even though I've been trying to be a little bit more selective about the things that I purchase, I still managed to get a bunch of books for me to show you. I have regular books, I have spooky books. So I'm gonna show you first the ones that are non-horror, and then I'm gonna show you the horror ones at the end. First, let's start with something that I got at a second-hand store in the Netherlands, and that is Alice in Wonderland. And I don't plan on buying really every single edition from every publisher because that would be too much, and some of them are very simple and don't have really anything. But this is an annotated illustrated edition, and the illustrations are different from the editions that I have, so I had to take it. And I absolutely love that this is one of those editions where Alice has black hair, because in the original Alice, in which Alice in Wonderland is inspired, has brown hair, but it was kind of more Disney's doing to make her blonde. But yeah, so I got this one. It's not in the best shape. The dust jacket is a little bit beaten up, but these things, you know, it's harder to come by nowadays, so I'm glad that I could pick this one up. Then I got two books while I was in Spain, and I got one as a present for my friend, so let me show them to you. The first one is this book here. I know it looks weird, but it is a Spanish old edition that I found in a flea market, and it is Francisco de Quevedo, and the book is called El Buscón. I'm gonna try to find the English title if this has been translated, and I'm gonna leave it down below. But I thought it was great because it's one of those old stories that I had to read for school, and this is how the writer looks like. And I don't know, it's a really nice kind of old school edition that is perfect for, you know, also pictures or decorating your house, and I just really loved it. Then I have this book over here. It is El Fuego Invisible by Xavier Sierra, and this is a Spanish writer, so I read all of his books in Spanish. I'm gonna also try to look if this has been translated to let you know, guys, down below. But all of his books are kind of, it's like the Spanish Dan Brown. I think that's a very fair comparison, because he writes book about like the Templars and about like art pieces and secret organizations, and he wrote one about the Last Supper, like the painting. So he kind of focuses his stories around art pieces and things like that, and secret sects and things like that. So yeah, I've been meaning to pick this one up for a while, and I finally got it, and I'm so happy. Yeah, so I'll be reading this one as well soon. And the one that I got for my birthday while I was in Spain is this one here. It is a Japanese compilation of dark tales, and apparently this has only been translated into Spanish so far. It is an original Japanese book, and it comes with really cool illustrations. It's all kind of spooky and dark, so it's perfect for me. And again, I don't know if there is a translation for this, because as far as I know, my friend works in a translation agency, and so she told me that Spanish is the only language it has been translated to so far. But yeah, it comes with these really cool illustrations, and they're supposed to be like dark tales from Japan, and it's perfect that they're short stories, so you can read one each month if you want. I love to do that with compilations. So yeah, I'm so happy that she gave me this one because it is so special. Alright, so now let's move to my English books, which are a lot of them, but I thought I would show you also the ones that I got in Spanish, even though I know that they're in Spanish. But I don't know, I thought maybe you'll be curious to see what kind of Spanish authors I like to read or things like that. If you want a video about, you know, Spanish authors that I like or something like that, let me know down below. I can definitely do that. So now let's move to the books that I got for myself. And I got Ransacker. This is the second book after Berserker by Emmy Laybourne, and as the first book, the cover is stunning, and this is a story of a family, and there are many brothers and sisters, and they all have special powers, and they are being chased because of this, and they find themselves having to run away. But the best part about this is that it is kind of based as a Western, and the feeling that you get from the story and the characters is so special and so different from all other stories that are more stereotypical when it comes to children with superpower stories. So I absolutely loved the first book, and I've been meaning to get the second one, and man, I'm so excited about this one. I'm probably gonna have to wait until next year to pick it up, but I mean, just look at the artwork. It is just stunning. Next I have How She Died, How I Lived by Mary Crockett, and I believe, if I'm not wrong, it's the story about a girl that is kind of thinking about why another girl was killed and not her, and all of these. So I think it's going to be a hard-hitting contemporary. I've heard good things about it, so I'm excited. Next I have a book that I know Olivia Catastrophe is going to be really proud of, that I finally picked up, and that is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I still have not read anything by Maggie Stiefvater, so I hope to like it, and I decided to choose this series to start with because I heard good things about it, and a lot of people have been raving about this series, so I decided to pick it up and see how it goes. Definitely one that I would like to try next year, see if I like the series, and then grab book 2. Next we have Between the Blade and the Heart by Amanda Hawking, and this is Valkyria book 1. Reasons why I picked this one up: Amazon had it for sale for like $1.99, and it said Game of Thrones meets Blade Runner in this fantasy inspired by Norse mythology. So I was like, sign me up for that. And you know, I'm being a little bit more picky now with fantasy, so I hope that this one is going to be a good one, and I believe it's a duology, or at least the second book is already out. But yeah, really excited to try this one. The next one is a purchase of a book that I already own, but it was one of my favorite reads, and I wanted to have a hard copy edition of it, and that is I Stop Somewhere by T. Carter. Even though I freaking love the softcover edition of this book, I wanted to have the hardcover just because, like I said, it has become one of my favorite books of all times that I want to reread. This is a heartbreaking contemporary story, disclaimer alert for rape, murder, and physical abuse. And it's the story about this girl that is telling you from the beginning of the book how she died, where her body is, and it is really beautifully written, but also really heartbreaking. So I always tell people to go into this book when you're happy and you're in a good place in your life. Then I have this beautiful book here, In an Absent Dream by Shannon Maguire, and this is book 4 in the Wayward Children series, and I've loved all the other 3 ones. My favorite is still the second one, but I'm so excited. I'm so happy I finally got a hard copy of this one, because I have all the other ones in this format, so I wanted it to match. So I was waiting until the price would drop a little bit so I could pick it up, and this is a short read, so I hope to read it before the end of the year. Then I have The Geography of Lost Things by Jessica Brody. I picked this one up because I've heard it's a really good contemporary story that includes a road trip, so I always really enjoyed road trip stories, so I decided to pick it up. Then I have a book that I was expecting. It was an expected release for me this year, and that is The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. I've really been expecting this one, and I had to pick it up as soon as it came out. And all I know is that we are in a mansion, they discover this book, and then there are these wonderful stories or things in the book. I don't know, it's supposed to be magical, it's supposed to be great, and I cannot wait to read this. And this book, like this cover, it's fantastic, and I'm super excited. Can you tell? In order to transition to horror, I have a sci-fi with a little bit of horror in it, and that is Vigilance by Robert Jackson Bennett. Scott from Book Invasion always praised this book, and I decided to pick it up. And it is also a short story. I think it's about a futuristic vision of the world in which people are can play this kind of game, and the people that survive get a cash prize. So we're supposed to be in the United States in 2030. It's not so far away, but hey, nobody said that in 10 years we're not gonna fuck up the planet even more, so we will see. Yeah, it says stay armed, stay cautious, stay vigilant, and this is a perfect read. Maybe that I can fit it still in December because, like I said, it's a short book. Now let's go to the horror books, and I have Asylum by Madeleine Rouge, and this is a book that was on my wish list for a long time, and I finally found it secondhand for cheap, and I decided to pick it up. What I didn't know is that inside of the book there are like these graphics that look so cool and creepy. I mean, excuse me. And this is a series, so this is book 1, and if I love it, I will be picking up the rest. Yeah, and I don't know, I'm assuming it's based on an asylum, and it says once you get in, there's no getting out. So this sounds like something I freaking love. I love horror stories that have to do with hospitals, asylums, anything like that, mental institutions. I'm a sucker for those stories. Next I have The Betrayal, and so one of my goals now for my book collection is to start getting old horror paperbacks. So I do not own any of the Fear Street books, which is sad. So I decided to start picking them up, and so I am trying to get them in like secondhand, very good or like new condition, so that I can save up a little bit to get more of them without having to pay full price for all of them. Also, some of the older ones are no longer available, so you have to get them secondhand anyways. And this is how the cover looks like. I absolutely dig these older horror paperback covers. They are fantastic. Then I have a book that I picked up for my collection, and that is The Strain by Guillermo del Toro and Chuck Hogan. I own these books in paperback, but because I love the series so much, well, it's a trilogy, there are 3 books, I loved it so much that I want to have them in hardcover for the collection and to reread them and everything. And if you don't know, this is based on vampires, and they are very cute. It's a very different take and approach on vampires. So if you're looking for something that features vampires but you want a different approach and not the typical vampire story, and more kind of like a virus science fiction post-apocalyptic story, this might be for you. Then at the secondhand store I found these Irish Tales of Terror, and this looked very vintage and weird, and I decided to pick it up. It's basically 22 tales, and it includes a lot of people, also H.P. Lovecraft and Oscar Wilde. So I was like, I'll give this one a try. So it's 22 stories, and again, I love horror short story books, so this was a great find. Then I have a book that I'm a little bit nervous about reading, and that is The Merciless by Danielle Vega. And I got this one because Ola told me that I would like it, because I was having, you know, mixed feelings about this book. I was thinking like maybe it's too, you know, young adult for me, maybe it's going in the direction not so much horror, and then Ola was like, oh no, hold on girl, this has gore in it and you're gonna love it. And I was like, okay. So I picked up the first book. This is also a series, so I picked up the first one, see if I like it, and then I will continue with it. But I'm really excited to see if I really love this one, because like I said, I'm kind of scared going into it and then hating it, but we shall see. Then I have a book that I've been wanting to get in this edition for a little bit, and that is Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. I finally picked it up, and I mean, this edition is just so cute, and I love the combination of red and black. It's one of my favorite color combinations of all times, so I finally have it for my collection. Then I have a book that I ordered because it is an older horror paperback, but I also heard it's very disturbing, so I was like, okay, I'll take it, and that is Endless Night by Richard Lehman. All I know about this is that there is a killer that I believe butchers a whole family or something like that. We'll see, but I'm also gonna try to read this one before the end of the year to read a little bit more horror. Then I have Dracula in Love by Karen Essex, and I got this one because, again, I like to buy everything that has Dracula as a story, and this is basically the story told from the perspective of Mina, so I thought that would be interesting to see. Yeah, and I got this one also secondhand for like €2 and it's in perfect condition, so I decided to give it a try. I'm thinking it might be a little bit more on the romance side maybe than in the horror side, but we shall see. Next, I have another book that was pitched to me as very effed up and disturbing, so I had to pick it up, and that is Adam Neville, House of Small Shadows, and it is a British author, and this story is supposed also to have something that I really love, which is dolls and horror stories, and it's about this master taxidermist and puppeteer that apparently makes creations with dead bodies, and then they investigate and can go to his house and they find these kind of creations, something like that. So yeah, really excited for checking this one out as well. And to conclude the video, to conclude this book haul, I have a classic that I have never read, and I decided it was about time to pick it up and read it, and that is Flowers in the Attic by Virginia Andrews. One that I have not read, I know, shame on me, so I decided to fix it. Okay, so I picked up this copy because I really think the cover is super pretty in this edition. I love the colors, they're fantastic, and yeah, I'm expecting a creepy, you know, maybe Victorian story by the looks of it. But if you've read this one, let me know what you thought down below, because with classics, you know, I never know what I'm getting myself into. And these were all the books that I had to show you so far. I hope that you enjoyed this book haul, and maybe you found a couple of new books that you would like to, you know, add to your own TBR or a wish list. I'm sorry about that, but you're welcome. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know also down below if you read any of these books, what your thoughts on them were, and what is the last book that you purchased. Let me know down below. If you use other platforms, I do have Goodreads, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The links for that are in the description box down below. If you're new here, remember to click the subscribe button, and also don't forget before you leave to click on the notification bell so you're notified every time that I upload a new video, and I'll see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!